All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, pardon the little beeping sound in the back. Where I live, you basically have to go through the building super before you can get it changed. And this guy's been MIA for a while, so I've been trying to get a hold of him, but just bear with it for now. Um, but going into the lesson, right? As you can see in the title, the more previous beast. Okay, the more the more previous beast. And for those of you who haven't seen it, this is a video that was put up by the elder apostle Tahar, titled "The MOTB from the Previous Beast?" Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? And basically, you have General Yohana, which somebody called in. I'm gonna play it. Hopefully, you can hear it. If not, I'll play the audio from my phone. But basically, somebody calls in and and ask about the MOTB, and they ask about they basically ask about the time of King Solomon, as to how during King Solomon's time he was able to buy and sell, yet they say that he had the MOTB. And this is this guy's response. So you know what? Let me let me actually see if I can find the timestamp, and then I'll play it. Let's see. Oh man, it's lucky. Let me just find it. All right. So this is right around 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Let me set it up on the phone so you can hear it. There you go, right around here. All right. Slack you on a second. But at the end of the day, man, this is why we do these videos as the scriptures have commanded us to point out, okay, these individuals. All right, because that basically what you're about to hear is something he just made up on the fly. It makes absolutely no sense. All right, but let's hear it.
Yeah. From Indiana. You remember GMS? Okay, speak up loud, brother. You got a question or comment? It mentioned the mark of the beast in Revelation 13 chapter about you can buy and sell with the mark of the beast, right? If you could do what? Buy and sell with the mark of the beast. Right. That you would not be able to buy and sell unless you had the mark of the beast. Right. So Solomon able to buy and sell? Once again, Solomon had the mark that was before that beast. The beast Solomon had the mark from. You wasn't listening to what I said all during the class. The mark that Solomon had wasn't the fourth beast. The mark that Solomon had was a more previous beast. You had to listen to what I was saying.
Oh my God.
See, y'all don't know about the previous beast before the fourth beast. The previous beast had his own mark. Ain't you brothers glad that you part of GMS? Most I didn't deceive you.
Yeah, so you heard it, man. So man, this is ridiculous, man. But basically, so Solomon, according to General Yohana, Solomon had the MOTB, but he had the he had the mark from the previous beast, right? The more previous beast, not the fourth beast, but the more previous beast. So pretty much, I mean, where can we find that? Where is this account of this more previous beast? Okay, but like I said, he made that off the top because the question that was asked was one that was very irrefutable, right? Because the scriptures give account. All right, yeah, there's the first beast, and then it was wounded, and they came back, but that was all post Solomon's time period, right? It all came after the time of King Solomon, and the scriptures in Revelation 13 describe only one mark of the beast. Okay, it doesn't describe about the previous one, and then The current one. So hold on a second. Which one is it? Which one is going to get you into the lake of fire? Is it the previous one? And then what about the one that's written in Revelation 13 and 16? Or do they combine together at some point? You know, like the supermark. So which one is it? And like I said, they just make these things up. And that's why the scriptures say, matter of fact, let's go real quick. You know, Lord willing, won't be a long video, but like the apostle mentioned in the video, right? Aren't you glad, you know, to be a part of GMS, because, or at least be in the same company, right? Because the Most High didn't deceive you. You know, you actually have people that follow these other individuals with, you know, they come out and say these horrendous, outrageous things that make absolutely no sense. And yet they have a congregation that just sits there and just says, Khan, you know, and that's it. Hallelujah. But that means that you're not thinking. So this is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. It says here, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints. And let's look into that word perfecting, because this is definitely, all right, this is definitely not perfecting the saints. If anything, it is making them worse. All right, you're putting damnable heresies, all right, out there. So it says complete furnishing, equipping with what? With the knowledge, right? As the Apostle Paul describes it as the you know, like a suit of armor with a shield, a helmet, breastplate, you know, all of these things. But now we're talking about the more previous beast and you know, making these things up. And now if you were to ask, okay, so show me a precept that talks about the more previous beast and it describes how the mark that Solomon had was from that. So what was that mark? What was the more previous beast's mark that King Solomon had? And what was the judgment for that mark? Is it different than the one for this one in Revelation 13? See, because that's why you got to ask questions. You see, as a student listening, somebody that's, you know, in the congregation or whatever, you have to ask questions. If something doesn't make sense, you got to ask. And it could be one of two things. Either you don't understand it, or it actually does not make any sense at all. But you won't know until you ask. So you have a lot of people that don't ask questions. They just sit there and they take everything as it is. But you have to ask questions, because then that's how you gain understanding. And that's why the Lord gave you a brain. Your brain operates in a way, if something comes in and it doesn't sit right, you got a mouth, and you know. So it says verse 12, for the perfecting of the saints. Who are the saints? The saints are Israelites. For the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. So when the Lord harped upon feeding his lambs, it says in the book of Jeremiah that the Lord is going to give Israel, all right, pastors according to his heart, that would feed them with knowledge and understanding. The more previous beast is not sound. Knowledge is not sound in any way, shape, or form. It's something that was made up on the fly. What's the word? There's a certain word, wing. It was winging it. That's what you call you winging it. Okay. It says, verse 13, till we all come in the unity of the faith, not these modern day unity camps, okay, but the unity of the faith and the knowledge. It says, and the knowledge of the Son of God, onto a perfect man, onto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. Because what happens when with a child? You tell a child anything, they'll believe it. You tell them A this day, you tell them B the next day, they're gonna believe it. They're gonna go left, right. But we can't be like that in this knowledge. You can't hear some shit like so. I'm sorry, man. Every time I think about it, it just cracks me up. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Bel Shai Brakathum. Yep, GMS rebuked the tempter too. Hot 90. Hot 97 freestyle. Yeah, but that's basically what they're doing. You know, that's what they're doing on here. And people act like it's all good, but no, it's not all good. Okay, that's why the scriptures say that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. So basically, in order not to get stumped, in order not to stop and scratch your head and say, damn, that's a good question that actually makes sense. If the MOTB says you can't buy or sell unless you have it, and then Solomon was able to buy and sell, that's a good question. But instead of being stopped there and knowing you don't have a solid answer for it, because it's going to be one of two things. You either got to turn around and say, well, you got me, and then admit the truth, or you make something up. Okay, and that's that cunning craftiness where on the spot, no, you weren't listening. See, you weren't listening to what I was saying. I'm the more previous beast. That's what he had. Where's that in the scriptures? It's not there. But you know why that works on certain individuals? Because they don't read the scriptures. They're not going to go in there and check it, like the Church of Berea. So you can make something up on the fly, make it sound like it's in there, cunning craftiness, right? And you know that your audience is not going to go and really do the research to confirm that. So that's it. We just keep it pushing. But then the problem. This is why they really dislike they dislike us, right? Really starting with the elders and apostles of GMS on down, because they set that example, which is maybe the average congregation would say, oh yeah, whatever, they'll just go with it. But then you always have those individuals that call you out and say, no, that's not right. The scriptures don't actually say that. And that's the problem. Whenever you say something that's not true, and you have somebody else that starts to speak truth about that matter, they start to become a nuisance. They really start to become annoying, because they're messing up your plans. And then what are they doing? They're declaring it out in the open. Yep. GMS rebuked the tempter too. Proverbs 17 and 28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. There's a quote. I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but it was something along the lines of, people may think you're a fool, but you only confirm that when you open your mouth. And basically saying, if you don't know something, it's better you're just quiet, because people can think that maybe this guy's not the brightest tool in the box or whatever, the sharpest tool in the box. But it isn't until you actually open your mouth and confirm for them with some stupidity that, yeah, this guy is definitely not the sharpest tool in the box. Like, he's just boom. So sometimes it's better to just hold your peace, keep your mouth shut, because you know what happens? This is all evidence. This is all evidence. This is complete adding to the scriptures. So when the Lord says, time for judgment, and he starts pulling up them accounts and charges, all these records are there. You'd been better off just maybe just hanging up on the dude. Blaming it on the receptionist side. Hey, babe, I can't hear you. Hey, time to go. But hey, you're adding to the word of the Lord, and the word of the Lord is perfect. It doesn't need any add-ons. So that's a very dangerous thing. Okay, but at the same time, it's also dangerous to be just a bystander. Because if nobody speaks up and says, hold on, wait a minute, that's not true. The scriptures don't say that. This is what the scriptures say. If nobody does that, and then the sheep just go about, well, this is the only thing that I'm hearing. There's nothing else to it. And I guess it must be. And you know better, then that's a problem on your hands. Because the equivalent of it is like seeing somebody guiding or misleading a blind person into a ditch, and you're literally seeing it in front of you, and you can do something about it or say something, but you're not. You're just watching literally this individual lead this blind person right into a ditch. So then you become guilty. So that's like the equivalent if you don't speak up, because the Lord gave us the eyes to see, and we can see people being led down the wrong way. Now it's a different story if you say something and they're like, nah, we good over here. then you've done your job, right? Hey, I tried. I said something, right? GMS rebuked the tempter too. Proverbs 15:2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. Exactly. And to a fool, foolishness is normal. It's just regular. But to the wise, foolishness is foolishness. So when you study and you gain that wisdom, you become like a lie detector, like a spiritual lie detector, where if somebody you've read the scriptures, you've gone through it so many times over and over and over again that you can in your mind compartmentalize the different parts of the scriptures. If somebody is talking about the crucifixion of the Lord, you know which part of the scriptures, which section that's going to be in, right? If somebody starts talking about the Babylonian, you know which part in your mind to go to, around what part of the scriptures, what books, what chapter. So you sort of have this mental overview of, a general understanding of what happens throughout the whole book, from Genesis to Revelation, Apocrypha included. You have some working knowledge of what content is within these pages. And in that case, when somebody opens their mouth to speak about these pages or these scriptures and they say something incorrect, you can easily detect it, because it's like somebody comes up and then they start talking about how, I don't know, the Solomon really had intercourse with the Queen of Sheba and this, that. Then what happens? Your mind is going to do a quick analysis, and everything you know about King Solomon, you're going to think all the scriptures that you know about Solomon within the book of Samuel and Kings and Chronicles and any other scriptures that refer to him, Wisdom of Solomon, whatever, you're going to do that mental scan. And this is all happening usually just subconsciously, right? So you're going to do that mental scan and you're going to say, there's no record of this in the scriptures. What are you talking about? Then you start the questions. Okay, what scripture is that? Because I haven't seen that. And then that's when things get interesting. See, so they can't just get one off you like that. But that's because you study and you read and you use wisdom properly. You use that knowledge aright. Okay, this is Ecclesiasticus 5:12. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Hey, and really, for us viewing all of these things, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is really showing us a lot of examples. Okay, a lot of examples, because when the judgment starts going out, it will be apparent what individuals are getting what kind of judgments. And the Lord is making it so extremely obvious now by the actions that they do. So when the time of judgment comes, there's going to be no confusion about why said individual is in said condition. It's going to be like everybody's going to know, yeah, remember, boom, remember this time, remember when brothers did videos on this, remember all of these accounts. The Lord is putting it out there. So when the time of judgment comes, nobody can say, well, why such a harsh judgment for this individual? Or why would the Lord do this to this individual? He made it very clear what their actions were. He also put the Spirit on us to speak against it. And now the final piece is the judgment. So this is the book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 28. It says, take heed. And ultimately, man, we can give out warnings all day long, but this is really gonna go one way. If you're of the elect, you're not gonna fall for those things, and if you're not, then you're just gonna get caught out there. I mean, you have some people that are not of the elect, but they can still see through the BS. They just can't see far enough. But it ultimately just comes down to whether you're of the elect or not. Because if you're not, and the Lord traps your mind in that state, it doesn't matter how many warnings we give out. Okay, even though that we still have to do it, but it doesn't matter, because only the elect are gonna not be deceived. They're gonna know the Lord's voice. They're gonna say, "There's some BS, man. What more previous beasts are you talking about?" And they're gonna say, "No, that just doesn't add up." And once again, if you're not of the elect, well, that's a whole nother story. So it says, "Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock over which the Holy Spirit hath made you overseers, to feed the church of God, which he hath purchased with his own blood. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. So why do we bring out these kinds of accounts of records or instances that were talked about thousands of years ago, right? This is what the Apostle Paul was speaking on what he referenced. This is what Jude referenced, or the Apostle Peter referenced, because it's the same spirits in the same similar scenarios playing out in this time. The individuals that were doing the warning back then are here today. The individuals they were warning about back then are here today. And the situations that we're reading of in the scriptures in the past are happening today. Just like back then, you had men that were warning, like we're reading right now, that you would have grievous wolves coming. You would have people speaking after their own lusts and drawing away some. Guess what? The spirits in individuals that were there on the scene doing those things back then are back here again in individuals doing the same thing over again. So this is why it's relevant for us to go back there, bring out precepts like this to emphasize what's happening today, because it's the same spirits coming back doing the same thing. You got those that are doing the right thing. You got those that are doing the wrong thing. So it says, for I know, verse 29, that I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Also of your own selves shall men arise. Hear that? Of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw away disciples after them. And hey, those that the Lord is blinded, they will get drawn after them. Therefore watch and remember that by the space of 3 years I cease not to warn everyone night and day with tears, because that's how serious it is. This is we're talking about actual lives here. Okay. Now when this MOTB comes out, and they're actually, they got the station set up, they got all those things set up, and people are getting into it, and the pressure is on, because there's going to come a time when the pressure is going to be on, and at that point, it's not going to be like you can tell you can get away with this, right? You can tell somebody, nah, it's sleeping with white women, it's Christian. At that point, people are going to want one solid answer. And they might even just narrow down their question, and they might not even ask you what is the MOTB. They might just ask you, is it the CHIP or not? And why are they going to ask that? Because that is what they're going to be presented with when their job, is pressuring them, when they're getting pressured from different angles, different sides. They're going to come and they're going to want to know, is it the CHIP or not? They might not even just ask you, hey, what is the GMS says is this, and you guys say is this, and can you prove to me? They don't want to hit. They just want to know, look, man, is it the CHIP or not? Because I'm being pressured, and I need to know what kind of this. Do I resist this, or do I just take it? So soon the pressure is going to come on for everybody that's teaching against the CHIP. The pressure is going to come on, which is specifically about the CHIP, because that's going to be the main thing that's going to be out here tempting people, and that's what they're specifically going to want to know about. So if you're deliberately teaching against it, well, you either need to correct that, or you better start thinking of something good, because when people are desperate and they want answers, and you start giving them a runaround, that might not end too well. All right, that may not end too well. So the Lord is really about to start crashing a lot of these house of cards. Moving on, this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 3. It says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. Yeah, because you got two sides to the coin. You got those that are teaching false things, and then you got those that are blind, that are believing these things, that are just continuing to follow it. They get bored of the sound doctrine, of the solid truth. That's too stale for them. There's no excitement in it. All you guys do is go into the actual scriptures and just like do lessons. Nah, that's not what I want. I want drama. Okay. I don't want peace. I want problems. That's what they want. Right. So as it says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Okay, meaning that they want to hear something new. They want to hear that other. That's why you got a lot of people that, you know, they'll you know, listen to some information here, listen to some information there. You go on their page and they got a compilation of all different groups. You know, so that hey, that's the energy that they want. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's no boot kissing, no screaming matches, people fighting. Like, yeah, that, because that's what attracts drama, man. Look, drama is something that, because it works very closely with your curiosity. You know, that's what drama plays on. You want to know what's gonna happen next. You know, the somebody dropped the plate, there's a scream, and everybody, what happened? You know, that's what they want to see. So when they see the thumbnails, right? Like the elder was putting a few examples, right? Somebody bowing down, kissing a boot, or, you know, it looked like you got a Jake with his face all angry and he got a garment on and there's like an Edomite cropped in there. People are curious. Oh, what's that about? Did they get into altercation? You know, like that, and then that's when you get all those clicks to then the views go up, because that's what they want to see. But you do a video on something like I don't know, do a video on like herbs or do a video on an actual breakdown of the scriptures. You know, if you notice this, right? If you title your video an actual, maybe like a quote from the scriptures or a verse in the scriptures, you're more than likely not going to get many eyes on it, except for people that are actually studious and actually diligently learn. But if you put you put a title like, and at that point you got to learn how to title your videos. You know, you got to catch them. In essence, what you're doing is you're broadening your net, right? You know that not everybody that sees it is gonna you know, there's gonna be fish that get caught in the net that got to get thrown back out. You know, but that's what they want to see. You know, they want to see that Edomite comes up to camp and gets sliced and diced, you know, or things get physical between the prophets and this wild Ishmaelite. Imagine you see a title like that, and then you see a little thumbnail. You're going to look down at the view counts, and within a span of hours, it's going to be in the thousands. That's what they want to see. And then on the flip side, you do a video that says maybe, like, I don't know, like Ephesians 4th chapter, you know, sound doctrine. People are not really going to click. But hey, that's what you have here. So as we say, majority of your audience really are not there. A lot of them, you know, when you have those videos that have those high view counts, a lot of them are really just people that click on, you know, for entertainment. All right. Oh yeah. Khan. Yep. Saw that one. The Apostle made Apostle made white women bow down at camp. The hunk of cheese, right? And that was a perfect example, because the second you put the video out, you know, and I think there was also another one where he used like a clickbaity title, but it was all to prove the point, right? It was all to prove that point. Yeah, General Yohana burns down Times Square. Lashawan Kodash, no view. Yeah. And you know, it's sad, but like the elders will tell you, like, hey, they stopped doing, you know, brothers stopped doing as much Hebrew videos because nobody was really watching it. But guess what? You get confronted on the street, because, you know, there's certain breakdowns in the scriptures that you have to actually know the Hebrew to properly break it down and to understand it. And at that point, say somebody comes up and maybe they're not even a scoffer. Maybe they just genuinely ask you a sincere question on one of those breakdowns that you actually need to know the Hebrew to explain. And now you caught out there, you thinking, damn, I saw damn, one of the elders was doing a video on this. I probably should have watched that. You know, because now here I am in the middle of a live stream out here on the street. Somebody's genuinely asking me a question. I don't know how to answer it. And this is something that I probably would have known had I watched that video or studied it. See, but hey, at the end of the day, man, that's why you have different people on different levels. You know, you have people that diligently learn, you know, to know and to grow. And then you have some that just watch for entertainment, you know. But keep in mind that with all the sincere videos that are edifying, that you learn, it builds up your spirit, it builds up your faith, it builds up that knowledge. And all of these things are going to come in handy when all hell is breaking loose, when it comes to keeping you stable. Because you're gonna have a solid foundation. You learned, you studied, you know, the lessons that were quote unquote boring, the ones that go into history, and they all build you up. So when you're going through certain situations, you have more to draw upon. If all you did was just watch dramatic videos of people coming down and getting cursed out at camp, and you know, fights almost breaking out, all hell breaks loose. What are you actually gonna be able to call back to mind to keep you calm, you know, to keep you stable? What, how somebody almost punched somebody on the street? What the hell is that gonna do for you? But when you watch these lessons, you get edified. Lessons on faith, lessons on how, you know, men of old were delivered, you know, chapters, breakdowns, and you understand these things and you read. When you go through situations, maybe there's a famine, you have all these accounts. The time with Joseph, okay, the time with Elijah, you know, how Yahushua fed the multitude. Like these things you learn from actual lessons that build you up, and in that time you can think about these things, and you know, it'll calm you, because you're like, man, the Lord did all that back then, you know, he can do it again for us now, you know, let's just pray. You know, all of these things, they play a very important role. But on the outside, it seems like, oh, it's just another video. Well, you watch that video, it'll build you up, it'll make you stronger, it'll prepare you more for when that time comes, when all hell breaks loose. But you even have, even right now, on another note, there are certain videos that go into chapters like Sirach, you know, or Proverbs, that teach you character building. And these things are very important. A lot of Israelites that come into the truth don't have that. And it may not be your fault, that maybe your upbringing wasn't, you know, it wasn't as easy as somebody else might have had it, because of whatever the situation was, being under the curses. So there may be certain things that you just genuinely never learned. And then it wasn't until you came into the truth that you actually knew, like, damn, I really got to check my behavior. I got to stop moving this kind of way. And that comes from the different videos, you know, that you may get rebuked, or you may watch a video that says, hey, listen, if this is how you are, you gotta do something about that. Then the precepts that back it up, those are the videos you watch and you say, damn, you know, it some of these videos become like a mirror that just you listen to them, and it's almost like you're looking at yourself. And the thing is, this is a special mirror that just highlights a lot of different faults. And as you're listening to the video, it's like you're looking at this mirror, and it's literally like a hand pointing, boom, boom, boom. And if you're a spiritual man, you'll listen to it. You'll see the parts that apply to you, and you'll start working on them. But if you're too busy smoking a blunt, watching you know, like different dramatic shits all day, what are you really gonna, you know, gain from that? These dramatic videos, they're like eating sweets. It may taste good, but then you get all these cavities, you know, you get sick, your immune system is weak, you eat it. It's like junk food, as opposed to good quality, solid videos. And they may not always taste good. Some vegetables don't taste good, but guess what? They're better for you in the long run. Okay. Yep, that's right. Quality and substance. So let me read a few of these, and then Lowell, and I'll wrap it up. 1 second. All right. This is GMS Rebuke the Tempter 2. The Elder Barak Abar, Shalom. So this is Romans 15:4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. And this is very important. The Lord gave us these resources that we can utilize, because he understood. As a matter of fact, real quick, let's get this in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14, verse, let's see. There it is. 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 22. And this is what the prophet Ezra asked. And you could say he asked it on behalf of us, really, right? Because this is what he says. It says, but if I have found grace before thee, Slaki, I know I'm not sharing the screen. I'm just going to read it real briefly. It says, but if I have found grace before thee, 2nd Ezra 14 and 22, send the Holy Spirit into me, and I shall write all that hath been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law, that men may find thy path, and that they which will live in the latter days may live. So Ezra was thinking ahead, okay, thinking ahead about us with having these things that are written aforetime, written for our learning. These records, these are all here so we can have an account. Sirach, the 2nd chapter, tells you, look at the generations of old and see, did any that ever trusted in the Lord and were forsaken? How do you look at the generations of old? Through these records, right? Such things were written in the scriptures long ago to teach us, and the scriptures give us hope and encouragement as we wait patiently for God's promise to be fulfilled. Yep, that is 100% correct. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, with the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Yeah. So guess what? When shit starts getting wild out here, a lot of people underestimate how important stability of mind truly is. And the thing is, I can't give you my stability of mind. I can't just look at you and just give you a piece of that and you just calm down. It's a mental thing. Okay. And the preparation right now, people are not taking advantage of that. It's all fun and games and giggles. And I disagree. So I'm going to come on your comment board and start talking, leave 10 paragraphs about how I feel. This is what I think really should be going on. Everybody got to chill out and listen to me. I woke up a year ago, but listen to me. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to teach you a thing or two. I'm going to tell you about the previous beast. But what does that do for you? So when shit gets serious, man, all this game playing and there's this little bickering and there's this and there's that, it's all going to go out the window. That's just go and read about history. Especially read about the times when things were really tough. The times when hell was breaking loose and all of that. Go read about those times and see if people were playing games. When famines were severe, people were dying. Go and see if people were in the mood for playing games at that point. Come. If somebody wanted to come around and debate you. Yeah, man. So Jake thinks everything is a joke until it's not. Okay, until it's not. Yes, let me finish this. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is his treasure. And that fear leads to what? Wisdom. This is 2 Peter 3:11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And that's a very big point, because a lot of people, you see a lot of Israelites, and they behave as though there's going to be no such thing as Jacob's trouble. There's going to be no destruction coming. When you look at the way they live and the way they behave and the content that they put out, you sit there and ask yourself and say, wait on a second. It's almost like we all see on the news that there's a massive category 5 hurricane coming our direction. And we're buying the things we need and probably getting ready to evacuate and do whatever it is that you got to do. And you see, you turn to your right and you see these other individuals. They're out here in shorts, flip flops. Some got surfing boards, shades on. They pulling out the beach chairs and all these. And you're looking at them and you're a little confused. Cause wait, hold on a second. I thought, isn't there a category 5 hurricane coming? What's going on? Your actions are not. They don't really show as if you know what's about to happen. That's kind of like what it looks like now. You look at the behavior of what's going on, and you're like, aren't we all on the same page about what's about to take place? Well, clearly we're not. All right, clearly we're not. All right, these some pretty hot fire precepts, man. Let me maybe read a couple more. Yep, this is James 1:22. Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. And guess what? The reward is going to come to the doers. Okay, there's one thing. It's one thing to know what to do, and there's another thing to actually do it. If you learn how to do something, but you don't actually do it, it's not really benefiting you. Why did you learn how to do something? You learn how to do it so that you can do it. If you weren't gonna do it, why did you learn how to? Right? I mean, it's as simple as that. All right, so I'm going to finish it off with this. This is Yahweh's Warrior, Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And that's going to be a very big reality when shit hits the fan, because you will be judged individually. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, yeah, everybody's getting their own report card. It's not a group thing. Okay, as much as it is, it's also not. So on an individual level, you have to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right, that's the times that we're in. So, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.